I am Tony Lee with Alabama Housing Finance Authority. I'm so excited today to be talking with some participating lenders and a realtor that we have spotlighted with AHFA homebuyer programs and how they can make it more affordable for Alabamians to buy a home. Before I get started, I want to do some introductions. Today we have Adam Hammond with First Bank Mortgage in Guntersville. And also, once I say your name, if you'll just raise your hand so people will know who you are. We have Adam Hammond with First Bank Mortgage in Guntersville. Kimekia Holifield with First Horizons Bank in Homewood.
Hi, everybody.
We have Sally Knox with LoanDepot in Hoover.
Hey there.
We have Jonathan Robert with Prosperity Home Mortgage in Pelham. And we have Derek Silas, a realtor with Sweet Home Life Real Estate in Mount Olive. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about AHFA programs. So Adam, tell us how often you use the Step Up Down Payment Assistance Program and what's the greatest benefit to the home buyer?
So we use, my team uses the AHFA down payment assistance programs every month. You know, we're blessed lately to be closing 30 to 60 loans a month. And I would say that we use it quite often with the first time home buyers and just throughout the month. So often.
Great.
And then, I mean, the greatest benefit, of course, is the minimal down payment especially for those folks that are looking to, our motto is helping others get to a better place. And the better place that is for them, the AHFA programs really help them realize the dream of home ownership. In lots of cases that the borrowers don't have down payment money. So it is extremely critical in our business and helping others get to a better place.
Okay, thank you. So Derek, tell us how the Step Up program can help a home buyer who could afford a higher mortgage payment, but just don't have the extra money saved for a down payment.
Sure. I'm actually reminded of somebody we helped recently who had been through a divorce, and, you know, everybody feels like they're the only ones having these specific problems, but it's really a normalized situation. Everybody goes through their own life. Life happens. And this gentleman had been in a divorce, and one thing or another, obviously as it goes, sometimes credit gets messed up. And so he's throwing everything, pot in the kettle at it, the problem to get himself situated. So once that's all done and fine, he's got plenty of income to take care of what he needs as far as mortgage payment, but maybe not so much as down payment because he's been working his tail off trying to get everything set up for his credit. So, you know, we got him, we were able to get him in home, and I love watching him on Facebook because he's one of those, he's always doing something and tinkering in his house and talking about how he loves it, and always still giving me shout outs for getting him in that house when everybody else couldn't. And it just, those are the stories you live by. And that really is helpful to a lot of people, and they just don't realize it.
That's awesome. Did anybody else want to add anything?
Well, I mean, just in my experience, and I'm sure all the other lenders on the call here have had the same one, renting is almost cost prohibitive to a lot of our borrowers. So as they're starting their lives with either their families or themselves, and they realize a mortgage payment is actually less than rent, but that initial investment is cost prohibitive, by using Alabama Housing and USDA, it gives them the option to do it, but the restrictions geographically and some other things with USDA just prevent these people from historically being able to purchase. So by having a program like this, we're able to offer them something to get them into a home, and a lot of times with seller paid closing costs for a minimal investment, and they're immediately establishing equity and building this life with their family in this new home that otherwise they would have rented an apartment and not have anything to show for it. So it's just an amazing thing to be able to take these young people, like Derek was saying, sometimes established and having to start over, and putting them in a position of home ownership where, you know, before this program, they just didn't have any options. So it's really an amazing thing.
And to see those, like Derek mentioned, to see those faces on Facebook or on other social media platforms, to see those children who may or may not have ever had their own room, that's really what AHFA embodies, but that's also what us as mortgage originators embody, seeing those different stories.
So Kimekia, have you had any customers in the past that wouldn't have been able to buy a home without down payment assistance?
Yes, definitely. I'm reminded of at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. As you guys know, lender score requirements and everything else started changing very, very rapidly. And this program was the only one that kept credit scores reasonable and rates very, very competitive. I had a handful of clients that I was working with at the time where we had to literally switch their loan program because the regular government financing for a normal FHA loan was no longer affordable. The pricing was just off the charts. And so this actually helped me to be able to help these families realize their dream of home ownership in the middle of a pandemic and everything that we had going on. I am a CRA loan officer, so I primarily work with low and moderate income families, making sure that their home is affordable for them. Their number one challenge is, well, there's two challenges really, credit, and then the second biggest one is down payment. So without this program, a lot of my clients would not be able to even think about owning a home right now. So it's very, very helpful. Clients are very grateful to have the help. And so this is one of the few unique programs that allows them to be able to do that and do it affordably and still have a very competitive rate. Rates are very competitive, and I love that about this program.
Anyone else want to add?
I think she summarized it really well. I mean, you're offering something to people that are historically not able to do it, and especially working in the low income and credit scenarios, we do a lot of that. People a lot of times have been through numerous lenders before they get to us, and not everybody has the ability or the desire to learn the program. And so there's a lot of lenders out there that aren't taking advantage of it. So like Kimekia said, I mean, by the time they get to us, a lot of times they're not desperate, but they've been told no so many times. It's so refreshing to be able to help. So she's got a really good point.
Awesome. Sally, what do you normally find that the customers are doing with the savings they get from using the down payment system?
Well, with most of the people I work with, sometimes, I mean, if they're coming from a small apartment and you're moving into a house, you have moving expenses, connection fees. I mean, there's just a lot that goes into a move. And sometimes they need to buy more furniture, just, you know, simple things. But, you know, nonetheless, and they're scared, you know, what if I move in and then there's something that happens right off? They want to have that little bit of a nest egg, if they have anything at all, so that they're not, you know, strapped right as soon as they move in and they're not stressed out. But I mean, I can't say enough about the program. I'm constantly using it. I've helped so many people, and even sometimes just working with my realtors and kind of coaching them and explaining to them all the benefits of the program and who can qualify has helped me tremendously.
Jonathan, what's the best advice that you could give for a potential home buyer?
Gosh, so I mean, just covering all the bases could take an hour, but if anybody's in the market, especially the first-time home buyer, the first thing to do is just make sure what's in your head's what's true. A payment, a expectation as far as the process goes, out-of-pocket expenses, even in a loan like this where there's minimal, I mean, you're still going to have inspections and appraisals and stuff. So to set a realistic expectation and to really feel like you have a timeline that can be realistic, and also know the documentation requirements. I mean, I talk to so many people that just have no idea of what the process is or what's involved. So to be able to sit down and do a consultation with them and give them some information so they know where they stand credit-wise, so they know how you know, debt ratio works. All those things, the more they know on the front end, the better off they are. And you can research so much on the internet, but something like that it's kind of like diagnosing a sickness. It doesn't always take you to a good place. So working with a reputable lender, working with a real estate agent that understands their situation in their area. It's pre-work. It's practice basically when it comes to any execution. It's doing the stuff on the front end to ensure the next 30 to 45 days go smoothly. So find the people that you want surrounding you to do this with, find a good team, and make sure that they're all kind of working the same direction, and the rest kind of takes care of itself. If you have a group of people like who's on this call that know the programs, that know how to overcome obstacles, that can anticipate problems, that's a big one for me. A lot of times, not vetting some of the information up front, not verifying funds, in the bank account that are gifts or are done properly, can be big problems down the road. So just make sure you set the expectation before you write a contract and know what's to be expected of you.
Anyone else want to add?
Yeah, I will. I would just say that the first step, the advice that I would give is just to pick up the phone and make a call. Human nature is to be overwhelmed, and when we do that, we shut down. And so we automatically expect that you can't do it and can't make it happen, and there's all these obstacles and reasons why not to. But really, if you just make the phone call and start investigating, and like you said, get you a good team, a good support crew willing to work with you and on your behalf, and educate you in the process along the way. Don't get someone just to tell you what to do, to get someone that's telling you how and why behind it, so that you know how to better your situation for years to come.
Anyone else?
I would just add that, a part of the program is having a requirement for a home buyer workshop certificate. So that's a great opportunity for us as lenders and realtors to partner with our local nonprofit agencies. And there are some online options too, but there are local nonprofit agencies that offer the education, the assistance to help these homeowners be prepared for this process that they're going through. Because for most of them, it is very overwhelming. It's something they've never done. We're in the industry, so we do this on a day-to-day basis, but it helps them to get used to the lingo. It helps them to understand the red flags, what to watch out for. And when they're participating in these classes, they have access to the industry professionals that can answer very specific questions for them. So I love partnering with my local nonprofit agencies that can help me help the borrowers to be prepared for this. And then there's a place that they can go if they ever need assistance or get in a situation where they're behind. They can go right back to that agency to get the help that they need. So I really enjoy that about it too. It creates a great space for us to partner.
Okay, so now let's take a.
Can I just add one thing real
Sure.
quick? There is a common misnomer in the marketplace that it's impossible to buy a home still to this day. I talk to people that say I didn't think I could do it, but making that, like Derek said, making that call is important. But making the call to the folks that are really going to handhold and walk you through it, one of the greatest benefits with me and with other good loan officers is making that client feel. I mean, we all have to do multiple mortgage loans and sell multiple houses and all that, but when you're speaking with that person, it is crucial that they feel that you are the only one. They are the only one that you are working with. So I think it's very important to make the call, and there's a common misconception in the marketplace that it's, hey, I can't buy a home. And maybe you can't right now, but I think anybody on this call will tell you that they've worked with people for 6, 12, 18 months and helped them realize that dream of home ownership. And that's what wakes me up and gets me going every day, is the ability to help others.
Okay, so let's take a more behind the scenes approach now and talk about how and why you recommend our programs to home buyers. Derek, how did you hear about our programs?
Initially, like most probably, through just workshops, and you kind of hear the grazing over frosting of it, so to speak. And then with some of my more favored lenders that I tend to work with, break it down that as we were just speaking of, that takes time to break those down into smaller bites so you can get a grip and understand on what exactly all those layers entail and what's behind it. And it was something that I've struggled. My parents struggled initially with finances. And so I know I come from a place where I know what it's like climbing those hills. And so that's a lot of my clients tend to be people that have struggled, went through divorce, first time home buyer, whatever it may be, but that are just on the cusp of just needing just a little gentle nudge in the right direction to get them over that hump so they can get approved. And this by far has been one of the most common and easiest ways to get that done.
Kimekia, what do you like most about our program?
Well, I like the attractiveness of it, of course. And then as far as the administrative part, the back end part, it is so much easier than people think. The support is great. It is so easy to upload documents. The underwriting process is super quick. I don't know if you guys had maybe heard in the past that it was hard to do. It took forever to get everything done, but that is so not the case. With the changes that have been made, everything is digital. You don't have to mail anything. The customers are wiring those funds that need to be sent in for the commitment fee. It's just super easy. And the support team is really great. With myself, I've been a loan officer with the bank for about a year and a half now. And before I got there, we had done a few of these loans in the past. So the support team had to bring us back up to speed. And they were very patient with us, help us get all of our credentials set. Even with our merger that we just recently went through, they were very supportive with that. Helped us find our way through, getting all the stuff reset up. So it's just been a great experience. And I also explained to realtors that this is not as hard and the process is not as long as you think. We just need the regular time that we would need to create, to do a regular loan. It's not any long drawn out process. So I really like that part of it. The board is awesome.
Okay. So Adam, how easy of a process do you find it working with AHFA programs?
I couldn't hear the question.
How easy do you find the process of working with AHFA programs?
Oh, it's very easy. It has become through the years with the addition to the electronic or digital phase. You guys have grown with it. And, I come from a broker shop years ago that wasn't Alabama housing approved. And so I've been there too. And it is definitely an asset to not only our company, but to our borrowers to have the ability to lend. And it is just, it is a great process. And it is very simple. I mean, I would say I'm reluctant to say any mortgage loan is easy, but it is as easy as any other loan program that we do.
Hey, Jonathan, what makes you recommend AHFA programs to your borrowers?
Well, it fills a niche. So as most of us probably know, the first time you learn about it, it's the first time you're trying to find a 100% financing option to fix a problem or take care of a situation if it hasn't been brought to you before. So once you get into it and learn the benefits and the ease in which it's there, it's really just another tool in our bag. So whereas people, the first question I get on probably 70% of my phone calls is, we need 100% financing. Well, and it's not like it was 20 years ago or 15 years ago before the crash, where if you had a pulse and a credit score, it's a lot more restrictive. And so with this program, it's a great option for people, and it's got some flexibility that other loan 100% products don't have. I mean, unless you're a bank with a portfolio product, this is really your best option. And it's got some ability just to allow those people to do something. And like Adam said, it's not a painful process. It's not a process that's any more difficult for the homeowner than anything else they do. It's relatively seamless for them. So to be able to offer that in such a way that it's just integrated into our business, it's just a great program. I mean, it's not a it's not a second thought for me when somebody comes, especially with the geographic restrictions of some other 100% financing, and we're dealing in these areas that aren't necessarily high income housing, but they don't qualify for rural. I mean, this is a no-brainer. And people, even with some assets and some funds, are attracted to this program because I think Sally said it costs money to get into a house. So you can't be house poor by the time you close. And it's such an easy product that I don't even sell it as a, I've got this thing we can do to solve it. This is what you need to do. I mean, it's a no-brainer, and it's just such an integral part of what we do. It's not even a sales pitch for these people. They love what we offer and what you guys are able to do. And it's just such a great process.
And it's a go-to product for us.
Yeah, definitely for me.
That's what I was going to say. You're not offering them a service with it. You're giving them a lifeline. What would have otherwise been known? No, for sure.
Okay, and Sally, what about you? What makes you sell our program?
Well, I mean, I love the streamlined process for starters. I mean, it's just so much. To me, it's one of the easiest ones I do. I mean, and plus, like they said, the USDA, that does have the 100% financing, but you're limited to those areas. And so not everybody I'm working with is looking in those areas. The interest rates are extremely competitive. The MI rates help me lower that DTI down where, sometimes we're right on that cusp. I've even had situations where we were able to match up an MCC along with it and get them right where they needed to be. And it's been just so beneficial to them. The MCC, of course, is a little bit more detailed, and Charlie Harris walked me right through it. But, and I just love the support staff. It's an easy sell for me. I mean, so many people, even one I'm working with right now, they were determined, they wanted USDA, but they have 4 kids under the age of 10, and some of them are still in diapers, and they have child support on the other. The only problem is she works part-time on the weekends, which was pushing them right over on their income. And so I was with USDA, we just weren't going to be able to do it. But Alabama Housing, they thought they were closing the book. They said, well, I guess we're not going to be able to buy anything because they don't have money saved up. Tell them about Alabama Housing. And we were able to get everything in. They've got a contract right now that we're trying to finalize. And they just couldn't believe it. They were like, I didn't know we could do it this way. And I was like, it's just amazing. I tell just about everybody I work with. I talked to 3 people over the weekend that they wanted to know what to do so they could buy a house next year. I said, you're ready now. We can do this now. And I told them about the program. And so they're out looking. So, I mean, it's been effortless for me.
Okay, does anybody else want to add anything? Okay, I think that's all the time we have today. I just want to thank you all for showing up and giving your opinions about Alabama housing programs. Thank you so much for promoting and using our programs to help it more affordable for Alabamians to buy a home.
Thank you for running the
Thanks,
meeting.
Tony.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you all.
You too.